back. Shit, it's been a week since we've been on together, huh?
Yeah. But like my man D Buzz said, man, we back. It's gonna be
Yo,
an
we rolling. Oh yeah.
exciting show.
Yeah.
Um,
Lot going on right now.
a lot to talk about, a lot to uncover. Obviously, we're gonna tap into the comment sections. The family's in here heavy today.
They should be
Get your
spicy today. Comments
yeah,
should be spicy.
get you guys' opinion on what we got. Obviously, the Deshaun Watson news coming out, suspended for 6 games. We're gonna touch on that.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Russell passing, a legend
Legend.
on a
Legend.
legend on
Absolutely.
and off the court. So
Absolutely.
definitely gonna speak on that. What else we got? We got
We
Debo
got some
Samuel,
some more wide receivers getting paid. Nothing new.
DK Metcalf.
Debo, DK. We still gotta have maybe a quick conversation about that Kyler thing. We've talked about Kyler and the Cardinals on here recently, actually. So just retouching on that convo. Obviously, some other news coming out from different training camps around the league. We're gonna touch on the NFC South as a division. Obviously, they made the Bucks, who are the favorites to win it this year. Again, they made a big addition, at least in my opinion. I think that Julio Jones move was
Made a good addition.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. F1, if AB let me get to it. I was talking to we was talking last night.
You definitely got to get to your F1, baby.
I'm putting in all the tip with Tone me. Hey man, yeah, AB, hey, that's too much F1, man. So I'm gonna get my 5 minutes in at least, with the F1 because we're going on summer break right now. But it's a lot of football, obviously, to talk about. And once again, we're gonna start off with paying homage to one of the GOATs in American sports and in just the world in general, Bill Russell. We'll see y'all on the other side, man. A lot to get to today. Yes, sir. Welcome back. Man to Man Pod, August 1st. We are officially in August. I think we got a preseason football game in a few days. Football is fully back. This August, man, this year flying on by, man. We back, Man to Man Pod. I'm one half of the pod. Yours truly, Darius Butler. Got my co-host, Antoine Bethea.
What it do?
And like we talked about before the intro music came in, a lot to talk to. We're going to start with the now the late, great Bill Russell. Obviously, an absolute legend, like we mentioned previously. 11 to 13 championships on the court as a player. Was the first black NBA coach, first black head coach, I believe, in like any major sports over here in America. Obviously did incredible things off the court as far as civil rights and human rights. So shout out to Bill, man. Left a great legacy. The MVP, the title trophy, MVP trophy, Finals MVP is actually named after Bill Russell, if I'm not mistaken. But a legend on and off the court, man. What's your thoughts on Bill Russell?
Man, when you talk about setting an example, man, he's the epitome of that, and doing that at a time where this country was really going through some things, as far as especially being a black man in this country, and we still kind of having those same conversations today. But what he stood for, what he represented, not only as a basketball player, but like you said, as a human being, as an activist, man. That's what you want to leave. You want to leave a legacy. And as we always talk about as former athletes, it's like if I leave this earth and all you can talk about is my accomplishments on the court or on the football field, that's a failure. But obviously with Bill Russell, we can talk about so much more what he represented, how he impacted people. And
Yeah,
at the end of the day, man, when you want to leave an impact on people, and that's what he did. So again, man, rest in peace to Bill Russell, man. You talk about the GOAT, he's one of them.
absolutely, absolutely. And that off the court stuff, it ain't nearly as safe, accepted, mainstream as it is today. A lot of people can speak out and feel safe and still, get endorsements, feel safe when they travel on the road, when they leave their home on road games. I mean, on away games. He dealt with a lot of shit behind the scenes, even during his playing days when he was winning all those championships, doing all those great things for the NBA and for the Celtics. Still dealing with a great amount of racism for himself and his family, and still put his neck out there time and time
Yeah.
again. So shout out to the legend, man. So I heard a crazy stat a few days ago. UConn football's head coach Jim Mora was speaking on Bill Russell's legacy, and he mentioned of his 21 organized basketball seasons, Bill Russell won 18 championships. So that's high school, college, and then in the pros. It was 21-0 in winner take all games. Now, that's not, I don't care what era, who you playing against, but that is beyond impressive. So, like you said, that standard of excellence and making teams better. He a guy I want my corner. That's crazy. When I heard that, I was blown away by that stat.
Yeah.
But shout out to Bill Russell. Okay. Out there with Chuck's on too.
Chuck's feet
That's
hurt.
good
Back
defense
hurt.
right there. That's
Back
good defense
hurt.
right there. Vertical.
Hawks.
Got whooped back there.
His highlights and awards, man. It's crazy, man. 8-time All NBA second team. That must have been. I would love to see who made first team those years.
Probably will.
Probably will.
Yeah, probably will. 3-time All NBA.
NBA All defensive. Now being a critic, he only made one All NBA defensive team.
Man, who was doing? See, they had issues back then, man. Who was doing these, man?
Come on, Bill.
They hating, man. But shout out to Bill, leaving a lasting legacy. Like we said, it's August, and this news, this Deshaun Watson news, is obviously being talked about a lot. Judge Sue L. Robinson, I guess, finally made her verdict on the suspension. 6 games. 6 games. I think I kind of been around that range for a while from the beginning. Obviously, the NFL have been publicly pushing for more and a longer suspension. Last night, the PA and Deshaun Watson's team put out a statement basically saying and asking the NFL to respect whatever judgment Sue came out with. So now it's six games for Deshaun. What was your immediate thoughts on that when you saw the news break this morning?
Honestly, bro, I didn't really even have an initial thought, man. Because I feel as though either way you went, it was going to be some type of discrepancy, right? And you feel some type of way. For me, it was all right. Let's see how many games he's going to get. And I know it's been a lot of talk about the Calvin Ridley. How does he get a year? And Deshaun Watson only gets 6 games.
Apples and oranges.
Definitely apples and oranges, man. To your point, Sue L. Robinson, she did what she did. She did her job. I think she's well respected from both sides, NFLPA and the NFL. And she went in there and looked at the facts, and not to disregard, the accusers and the women and what they've had to go through. But if you go in there and you look at the facts, and this is not only from Sue L. Robinson, this is also from when they took it to court. When they took
two grand juries, criminal court,
juries decided the same thing. So again, I hate that we even had to go through this. But I mean, 6 games is kind of leveling out to what the past players has gotten as well. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
again, there's going to be some people that's upset about this, about this
absolutely. Yeah.
games. There's going to be some, it's going to be some folks that wished and hoped that he would have got more. Pushing for a year-long suspension. But again, man, it's one of those tough things, man. Because again, I have a daughter, you have daughters,
Yeah.
and it will be one of them things that hey, I will be pushing for the same thing. But at the end of the day, you got to take it to court, due process.
Be pushing for the same thing for your son too. If you know,
exactly, I would. So again, man, it's a tough topic.
Yeah.
Tough topic to talk about. But they went in and did their job, and they came back with 6 games. So I feel as though we all should at least respect the process that it went through.
Yeah, that's what we talk about in America too. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, and then you respect due process. And that's kind of I guess what we've been doing. We knew as players, look, the sheer amount of massage therapists is like, hey, whoa, what's going on?
That's
here?
wild.
It's some weird shit going on here. Yeah. We both agreed on that. But beyond that, the numbers and the things that, him having that many therapists, that doesn't make him guilty of other things. And, like we said, the 2 grand juries that he went to, that they threw it out criminally. He had the civil cases, settled a bunch of them. No judgment that Sue put out was going to be, everyone was going to be happy with it. 6 games, some people are going to say it was too many. Some people are going to say it wasn't enough. A lot of people are going to say it wasn't enough because once it's put out that court of public opinion, it gets beyond the facts. It's about emotions and how we feel, and so many women. And I feel it both ways. If he's being wrongly accused of something, because he stood by his innocence the whole time. I feel like you should have that same energy on both ways. So Sue followed the facts. She made her judgment. Deshaun Watson and the PA said before it came out that they wouldn't appeal it. I think the NFL has 3 days to appeal it. And I know, PR-wise, the NFL has been putting out for seems like months now that they wanted a full year. They wanted indefinite. So anything less than that, you would assume that they would go and appeal it. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do in these next 72 hours. But I think it's hard to even say 6 games is fair, because if you looked at the evidence and he wasn't guilty of, said things, what is he getting 6 games for? For just embarrassing the Shield?
A question for you. So going into, do you think him sitting out last year had anything to do with how many games? Because if you look at it, that's a whole year. That's 17 games.
Yeah.
And then these 6 games, that's 23 games that he's sitting out, that he's missed. Do you think that had anything to do with the 6 games?
You know what? I don't know, because I don't know how much Sue L. Robinson, the judge that ruled on this, was tapped in there, or if she took that into consideration. And that's another part of this. It's a lot of information that we still don't know as the public. The NFL, I feel like they know a lot more than they're coming out with. And obviously, Deshaun, he has his story, but it's a lot that we don't know. But I think those 17 games, shit, let's keep it real. He got paid, and he made it clear that he didn't want to play for Houston. And I don't think he was put on the exempt list. So I don't see it. I don't know how Sue sees it, but I don't really see that as, quote unquote, time served. I feel like that should have nothing to do with this. Because he went a year, practice, and got paid. Like, you can't be mad at him. And then he came in this year, and I feel like, and I've said this all along, I feel like the NFL, we know the NFL, we know the people we dealing with. Like, they're gonna do their due diligence. They're going to get behind the scenes and find out the information they need to find out. And they did that. And multiple teams came to Deshaun Watson's table with offers. Mm-hmm. And he ended up signing the highest guaranteed contract in NFL history. So me putting 2 and 2 together, I felt like they kind of knew, like, okay, the evidence leads us here, and this is the max. So, but PR-wise, publicly, they gotta say, hey, we want to punish him more than this. So, but I think it'll end up in these 6 games. And as of right now, he'll come back 7th game against Baltimore, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, people gonna feel it. People gonna say a lot, but that's my thoughts on it. We don't know what we don't know. I can't just make the man guilty because it looked funky. It looked weird.
It looks crazy. It's something that you wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
When you put it in that type of frame on it, I wouldn't do that. But it's like, hey, it's a lot of shit that goes on that you particularly wouldn't do that says that's just not really, wrong. I mean, he wasn't wrong for going to have, it's just different. But then to that point, I think it says that. But even with this, what I'm about to say, it says, he can only get massages from Cleveland Browns employees. Like, how do you, you saw that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how can you, like, if I don't get a lot of,
that made no, I'm like, how do you even enforce that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's just, you put that out there saying, hey, look, we told him, he can only get massages by employees, but at the end of the day, man, like, but to your point, man, we definitely gonna hear some more about this upcoming days and weeks. When this season starts, Deshaun come in and he's playing well. For unfortunate, that the game of football kind of forget about what happened. Even though the women, their families are not, but in the big scheme of things, a lot of time that's what happens.
Yeah, and then on the flip side of that, because this is something that is kind of always going to be a stain. Or when his name is mentioned, when his name comes up, he can go on and win a couple of. People can always say, well, "What about this? What about that?" And like I said, he's always stood by his innocence. So if he's innocent of this and he goes on, I also think about that. Like, it's a lot of other things that will never, a lot of endorsements, a lot of other people that will never mess with him because of these accusations. So, I always look at it two ways. And I feel like, honestly, at this point, with how it's gone, we'll never truly know the whole truth. But I would assume that Sue had the most information that anybody had, and she made the call here. So the NFL trusted her to make the call. The PA trusted her to make the call. She made the call 6 games. So it seems like that's what it is at this point.
SJ Mason had a question in here. Are suspended players still allowed to practice with the team? No, you're not allowed in the building.
I think that's once the suspension has started to be served.
To serve, yeah. So up to. So in his case, up to he's allowed the practice and in the building up to when the season starts. I guess week 1. You know what I'm saying? But then since after that, he's not allowed in the building. He's not allowed to practice until his time is served.
Yeah. So 6 games. And the people that keep Trashy McStoner, question from Trashy McStoner. McStoner always got to get his questions answered now, because he got us that interview. Appreciate you, Trashy. But his question: does something like this affect NFL locker room? It's a good question. I feel like it affects it for sure, but I feel like most people are probably going to feel like me and AB feel about it. Like, number one, it's weird. It's out of the norm, the behavior, but knowing the locker room, just like your coworkers or your classmates in college or whatever, different people do different things. That shit, if you go down the line in that locker room from 1 to 53, it's probably gonna be 30 motherfuckers where you're like, oh, that's some weird shit, but that's your thing. So if you're not, and a lot of us in there have daughters, have sons, have kids, have families, girlfriends, wives, whatever. So you see it from that angle too. But if you don't feel like it was like violence or you was doing something against that, like, you kind of just gonna let it play out. Suspension's gonna play out. But I think that locker room, is all right. I don't think it's like a fractured locker room. That would be my assumption. I actually speak to a few of his teammates kind of often, so that's my opinion on it. Yeah. What about you, AB?
Nah, I think you hit it on the head, man. Obviously people gonna have their thoughts, their opinions on the situation. But again, once you sit back and you kind of listen to the different things that's been going out that's been said. And to D-But's point, shit, we can. It's other people in that locker room that's doing some other weird stuff that you be like, well, damn, or you raise your eyebrows at. So again, once you get into that season, man, and you going in there, you working, trying to win games. And I tell people all the time, just because we on the same team doesn't mean I like you. Like, you go to work.
Facts.
You everybody goes to work, and everybody that you work with, you don't particularly like, or you don't particularly care for. Like, you respect that person because you both going in there getting a job done. And it's the same way in the locker room. Like, at the end of the day, obviously you're great teams. You're gonna have those relationships that are better than others. And you respect one another. You respect, coming in, doing your job. This man next to me, he's doing this to take care of his family. I'm doing the same thing. But at the end of the day, like, we're not gonna necessarily like just love everybody. You know what I mean? That's just real. So again, it will have some. I think it'll have some type of effect in the more so the next few days. Being that the 6 games, the suspension has just come down. But I would honestly say in a month from now, man, it's gonna be, hey man, who's our next opponent?
Yeah, and this was something they've been preparing for, as a team. And the Cleveland Browns obviously had to prepare for this as well. If you bring them in, that this possibility was coming down the line. So Jacoby Brissett's prepared for this, the other quarterbacks, the coaches. So this is something that's not catching them by surprise. And if you paid attention to free agency, a few people were saying, like, I was seeing where Deshaun Watson was going to end up, and I was probably going to try to go there too. So I think they'll be all right as a as a locker room.
Yeah.
I think they'll be good too. Put Brissett out there. I think it's going to be a good offense for him to be in. It's built kind of in a sense to protect that quarterback and to put him in a good situation. You got a great running game, a great two-headed monster back there, healthy Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. You got to feed 2-4 and 2-7. You brought Amari Cooper over there. You locked up your tight end and Joker. You got weapons. You got a good old line. I think it's going to be a good situation these first 6 games out the blocks for Jacoby in that offense.
And your defense, lean on your defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a talented defense over there. So, you feed those 2 running backs, you lean on your defense, and you see, you come out of this 500, you in a good position.
And I had Tony, if you could throw in there that schedule, I might have put it in the chat, maybe not. But yeah, they put up the odds too. I think they're still third. They got the third best odds in that division. Remember, they weren't up when we did that division before.
Yeah,
and win totals and stuff like that. So it's a good time to check back into that. But moving on to some other NFL news. DK Metcalf, another receiver in this long line of receivers getting a bag. 3 years, $73 million from Seattle. Debo, 3 years, $73 million from San Fran.
73 and a half.
73 and a half, my fault. That's a half a ticket right there.
That's big right there.
Can't leave that off. So this is a rap sheet report from last night. Another big time wide receiver deal was struck as a 49ers saga with star Debo Samuel came to an end, a happy conclusion in the form of a 3-year extension worth up to $73 million. First and foremost, I'm liking these new styles of contracts, these new extensions that these receivers and other players are signing. We talked about Juan Soto, who turned down a 15-year, $440 million deal from baseball. Now that's fully guaranteed, but still 15, 440, 23 years old. Good move turning that down. These young receivers, they locked in for 3 more years. A lot more of their money is guaranteed, and they'll touch the market again well before 30. So great job on them holding in, some of them holding out, and getting their money. Most importantly, getting that financial security and then setting yourself up where you'll be able to hit that table. Again, what's your thoughts on these wideouts continuing to get that bag?
Hey, man, keep moving that needle, man. That's what it's about. We're going to put a graphic up in a little bit with these teams. what they worth and what type of money that they bringing in. So don't make it easy on them, man. You know, hold out and talk to them agents like, nah, I need every penny, every penny. And to D-But's point, shorten those years. Like, you don't want to go in there 5 years, 6 years, 3 to 4 years. Get as much guaranteed money front loaded as you can. And then, it's another contract dispute that we gonna post up here as far as offensive lineman. And him turning down a big contract just due to that, just because of not having guaranteed money in his contract. But shout out to these wide receivers, man. The money that they've been getting all season, keep moving that needle for the guys behind you, man. So I love to see it.
Absolutely love to see it. Trying to find this it's still now. But that was Orlando Brown you were talking about, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So RG3 dropped some RG3 bombs this morning. Reporting that Orlando Brown was showing up to training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs, will play under the franchise tag. And it's I don't know if it's a new rule with the new CBA, but if you don't sign that franchise tag, you won't be fined for holding out. So he could have continued to hold out without being fined. Decided to show up. Reportedly, as we hear about every other player, in the best shape of his life, ready to have his best season of his career. And I hope that he does, and I hope he does get paid, man. Everybody got different situations. For some people, it's always easier to say, hey, man, I would do this, I would do that. But every person got to go out there and make their own decision and live with that. But Orlando Brown, the details of the deal he turned down?
I think it was like a don't give me a line. I don't want to lie.
Let me find the tweet. But according to RG3, it was a 6-year deal, but no guarantees beyond the first 2. So exactly what me and AB just talked about. These long deals, and that's for the agents and the teams for to come out and say, hey, this is the highest paid whatever position ever. And then when you start to dig into the details of the contract, you're like, hold on, this don't look as good as it sounds. So backloaded, a lot of not likely to be earned incentives,
right?
A lot of bullshit they like to put in these, a lot of fluff window dressing they like to put in these contracts.
Man, before we move on, man, we got the Cleveland Browns schedule here, and looking at the first 6 games. Some very winnable games. Week 1, you got the Panthers. Week 2, the Jets. Week 3, the Steelers. Week 4, the Falcons. Week 5, the Chargers. And week 6, the Patriots. So again, they could come out
4-2.
Hey, Panthers, Jets, Falcons. Hey, I mean,
5. I mean, it's the National Football League, so
you got to come play
3-3. Yeah, 4. I mean, I can see best case scenario though. 4-2, 5-1.
Yeah, but I definitely say they could come out of there at least 3-3. If you come out of there 500, you in a great situation, because at week 7 and week 8, there's gonna be some tough games, divisional games heading into the bye week.
Yep, and then you got another shot once Watson comes back at every divisional opponent. You got the Ravens twice, actually. That'll be Deshaun's first game back. Then you got the Bengals twice too, and then one more time with the Steelers. But if it's one team in that division I want to face without my starting quarterback, it'll be the Steelers. So nice little setup for them, man.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
But, and we were talking about this money from these leagues. Look at these numbers, man. 2004, for the people that can't see, this is from a Sportico article that just came out with the new estimates of the league. And the NFL national revenue shared with teams by year, 2014 all the way up to 2022. Starting in 2014, 6.7 billion, up to 7.1 the next year, 7.8 the following, 8.2, 8.8, 9.5 billion, 9.9 billion in 2020. Last year, 11.1 billion. And then this year or last year, 12 billion with a B.
Hey, great business model.
Shit.
Great business model, man. You see no drop off. You know, trending upwards. That's what you want to see. And when you have those meetings with the accountant, the accountants. Hey, look, man, what we looking like this year?
Hey, and it ain't a lot of business models that look like this consistently.
Hey, boss, even during the COVID years.
COVID year, we still
even during the COVID year.
What we talking about, man? No fans in the stands on that,
Hey,
playing with us.
Yeah, man. So again, when we talk about protecting that shield, that's what we talk about. Like, they're not talking about protecting the players. They're not talking about protecting the trainers or whatever. They talking about protecting that money and making sure that each and every year we're going this way. We're ascending. We're going up. Whatever you want to say. So, great business model.
And that's why we say apples and oranges when you're talking Deshaun Watson suspension and Calvin Ridley suspension, because you've been seeing a lot of that. Oh, Calvin Ridley got a whole year for a $1,500 parlay. Calvin Ridley or anybody, any player, any active player betting on games will impact this much quicker than a single player having misconduct and embarrassing the shield and things like that. If you get players, especially with all these partnerships that will continue to come with sports betting that the teams and the leagues and the networks are making, they want to keep the players as far away from that as possible. And if so they had to come down hard and send a message with that because that impacts the shield. And that's what matters to the shield.
In the NFL, they're not moving from that. They're not moving from that. I know a lot of times, people say, when they talk about, now, William Hayes just put in the chat, like, Massachusetts just passed the mobile sports betting. So obviously we always walking around with these in our hand. And obviously it's tougher for players now. When I came in the league, nothing. When you left out the league, nothing. But now, a lot of these, states are legalizing sport betting. But that's one thing the NFL, they're not going to move off of. Like, if you're a player, you bet not get caught betting. And I think that's, like it or not, I think that's why they came down so hard on Calvin Ridley. Like, look, let's not make this something.
This guy, we gotta bring the hammer down hard the first time.
Because again, D-But's point, that affects the bottom line and that affects the shield.
Let me just show y'all this one more. So, of the top 10 most valuable U.S. sports franchises, the Dallas Cowboys up there won $7.6 billion, Yankees $7 billion, Knicks $6.1 billion, Warriors $6 billion, Rams $5.9, Patriots $5.8, Giants $5.7, Lakers $5.6, 49ers $5.1, Boston Red Sox $5 billion. And then these are the top 10 most valuable NFL franchise: Cowboys, Rams, Patriots, Giants, Niners, Bears, Jets, Washington football team, Philadelphia Eagles, the Denver Broncos.
But for the people that can't see this graphic, all the way to the right, it says a 1 year value change.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. The Rams coming off the Super Bowl win, plus 26%. And you know what's, in the Giants, the Giants haven't been really good. They haven't really been a team to really talk about for
New York.
Yeah, I get it, but again, man,
the Jets up here too.
Yeah,
the Washington football team. That like the NFC East. Yeah, that's why people talk about them so much, and that's a part of it. Kind of works both ways, but in the media, like that NFC East, that's the biggest media market by a wide margin. Even with them being terrible over the last few years.
Yeah,
Cowboys, Giants, football team, Eagles, all four of them in the top 9 most valuable franchise. So when you turn on the TV, you always see Cowboys, obviously, but Eagles. And now Washington, they got a quarterback too, Giants, big. That's the brand. That's the location. That's, that Northeast, the East Coast. So that's where the money is, man.
Hey, man. Whew. Hey, it's been a good show today, man. It's been
a lot of information, man. A lot of
info, man. A lot of info, man. We're gonna jump into this. Matter of fact, I spoke on this on Thursday. We're not gonna spend too much time on it.
Okay. We're
not gonna spend too much time on it, but Kyler Murray, and we don't want to talk about the contract. I think, the studying clause, right? And I know my co-host, he had put something out there talking about the optics versus the results. And I put some, and I just made a quick response to I called bullshit on that.
Hell no, is what AB said.
Hell no. So, but to D-But's point, I do get what he was saying. Yeah, we can talk all this trash, all this, whatever we want to say right now about him not watching film. But, if he goes out and has a spectacular season, at the end of the day, that's what we want. That's what we based off of. That's what you seek players off of is the results. So what I said hell no is that I know D-Butt, general manager, would not sit down in an office or be on the phone with somebody or with a quarterback at that. I'm not talking about a D lineman. I'm not talking about an offensive guard, even though those guys they watch tons of film, but not your quarterback. Somebody that's supposed to lead my franchise for the next 10 years, and I have to put in his contract that you have to watch at least 4 hours of film. They didn't say 10 hours.
At least 4, yeah.
They said 4 hours. I know you probably watch more than 4 hours of film before Wednesday walking into that building. Monday and Tuesday, I know
that's Sunday probably. Yeah, I probably try at least half of that.
So when you gotta tell your quarterback and you gotta put that in the contract, that's why I'm like, nah, that's no bueno. That's no good for me.
I feel you.
Even as a teammate, if I know my starting quarterback,
what if you know the motherfucker don't watch film though? Not saying that Kyler don't, but what if you know, hey, when our quarterback, cornerback, whoever, when he leaves here, everybody in the building know he go home and he get on that game. And he on the game from that point till whatever time in the morning, every night. Hey, man. And he's a great player. But we get him just watch some more film and now the GM. So as a GM, would I do that? Would I want to do that? No. And there is no precedent before this to do that. So that wouldn't even be in my mind to come to that table. But when somebody else did it, and maybe I'm in that similar situation down the line, I may say, you know what, I'm at least trying. If he signed this shit, he signed it. But I'm with you, man. They've took it out since. They took the clause out since. Kyler. I mean, they had to. We keep talking about, bro, PR, bro, public perception.
It's already out there. The perception is already there. So why go back and be like, okay, we're gonna take it out? Why? Like the damage is done.
We're making our quarterback happy. Our quarterback is upset with it. Our quarterback he seemed like he don't know what the fuck he signed, first and foremost. But he signed it. He's upset with it. The public, they talking too much. We just gonna take it out, man. Hey, I'm sorry, dog. Let's go. Let's move on to the season. It's a bad look both ways. Like I said, the optics from the beginning was bad. Now, if these bad optics lead to good results, I'm cool with that. And I feel like, as you know, we are, myself included, but a lot of us get concerned with optics over results. Like, all right, it's looking good, is it? But what's the real shit that's going on behind the scenes? And if they knew, because they know Kyler better than we do. The only people that know him better than them is the people in that locker room with him, and they don't have the power to say, "Hey, Kyler, you got to go and study fucking some more film." But the people in the power, in the positions of power, they could put it in writing. So I understood it. I saw where they were coming from. If they know he don't go home and watch film, you know what I mean? Like that's crazy for a quarterback.
Look at here. They know he. Like,
that's
they
crazy.
Know, like, boom, about to drop the ball. Like now they got iPads. They got iPads, right? Players have iPads, right?
Yeah.
They have iPads now. So obviously,
and they track.
They track you. They know how much film. Like our coaches used to embarrass One of my old coaches used to embarrass guys. He would put in the team meet room. He would put everybody how much film you've been watching, so your teammates can see. Yo, bro, like that.
See, like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
I've never seen a coach do that before.
So now it's all about accountability. Like, yo, like if I'm sitting next to you and I know I'm going home, I'm trying to do the most that I can to help us win on Thursday, Sunday, or Monday. And again, like everybody doesn't need to watch film.
We talked about on here a lot too. You can watch too much film.
You might watch too much film, and then you might have one guy on your team that cannot watch film and go out there and be all pro every year.
Yeah,
but that can't be none of that position. None of that position. Because the crazy thing about it,
I disagree. I disagree. I think to win a Super Bowl, to be an all-time great,
we'll have to disagree. Of course, he's done. He's been doing it. Like, and that's the scary thing about it. Like, he's not watching film and he's playing good ball.
Let's act like we know he's watching some film. I would say it's damn near impossible.
In the building, when he's sitting in the quarterback room, he's watching it with his quarterback.
Okay, I think he's watching film away from the building. But for the sake of this conversation, let's act like he watches zero film away from the building.
Right.
Kyler Murray is still a top 10 quarterback without watching film. If that's what he's been doing up to this point, he's displayed that he can play football at a very high level without watching film. You can't, like, there's no debating that. Like, I was watching a game of him, 2 games of him last night, and it was at least 5-6 times I wrote down just like, wow, like, no, like it's nobody else doing that. Ability, but he's also reading coverages and he plays in a simple offense, bro. AB, we know the league.
So is he really reading coverages? You kind of
said,
do you think so?
You know how so compared to when you first came into the league to when you left the league, how much more simple the offenses get as far as reads for the quarterback. Like the college game, they brought in a college coach to run a college system. So
I think you proved my point though.
So if Kyler is this player who's 43-0 in high school, Heisman winner in college, Pro Bowler, been to the playoffs, all these different things on every level, how is it not proven that he can do this without, like, once again, under the assumption that he doesn't watch film?
Well, college and high school is totally different.
I'm just saying, if you're looking at a whole resume,
I don't care about what you did in 9th grade, 10th grade.
Let's look at his NFL career.
Yeah, you're a winner. But what I'm saying is, as far as NFL wise, and to your point, it's like they are making the offenses very simple. 1 read, 2 reads, boom. All right, that's it. And then for him, his athletic ability, it puts him over the top because he can escape, he can prolong the play or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
But when it gets time, and we talked about it before, that second half of the season, when it's time to make that run, get into the playoff, it's struggling. Why? And we all know, like, that at that time, after, once them bye weeks start coming and teams start critiquing you, start sitting down and like, okay, he's not good at this, he's not good at that. We gonna create this rush and make him run this way.
Absolutely.
That's when it gets tough. So for me, at that position, you have to watch film. You gotta even watch film in yourself. Like, okay, what am I doing good? What am I doing bad? How is these defenses going to
I agree with you on that.
So what I'm saying is, it's scary how he's been playing and he hasn't watched any film. That's scary to me.
We know he's watched film, but once again,
I'm talking about outside the building.
Man, the man watching film outside the building. I refuse to. I don't think
we're gonna talk, D-Butt. We're gonna talk. So this one,
listen, man. And once again, we talk about now Kyler. I agree with you 100% at the quarterback position. At every position, I think you need to watch film. Because Asante Samuel we had Asante on our pod a while back. Asante was just on the I Am Athlete podcast. He said he didn't watch film. Now, both of us, if we just watch his film, we would think Zot was a film junkie. Like, oh, he jumped. Bro, you understand?
I have to get Asante back on here, and I would disagree with Zon.
When I saw it, I said, I think it might be a look. But hey, I'm gonna take the man for his word. He say, man, I ain't watch film like that. I got a feel. Even when we asked him who was the top 5 receivers when he was on the pod, he said, shit, I can't tell you. I can tell you the quarterbacks because I was game planning for the quarterback. So it's a lot of different ways to do things. Now, the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, the Drew Brees of the world, they had to watch a lot of fucking film. They had to be cyborgs out there and retain that type of information and have everybody on the same page and be in the perfect, because they couldn't do the stuff that Kyler, Mahomes, Jackson, that these quarterbacks can do with their legs. Aaron Rodgers even can do with their legs and get themselves out of situations and make up shit on the fly. I played quarterback position in high school. It was high school. But it ain't matter what that coach called. I knew, okay, I'm going to break this shit. Somebody going to get up and I'm going to find somebody. I know that was always something I could do. If I didn't have that ability, I would have had to prepare much differently. So a lot of people, oh, he ain't watching film like that. He never going to, like, it's a different breed of quarterbacks in the NFL. And these guys watch film. They read coverages. They make accurate throws. They do all those same things too. But they also have the ability to say, you know what, I'm going to just go out here and just do some shit right now that nobody else.
You play quarterback on my team, you gotta watch film, bro. Like, that's just me, bro. Like, I agree with you.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? And for you to put, you gotta watch at least 4 hours of film by yourself outside the building means that he was not watching film outside the building. And like, again, it's scary that he's played this well without watching film outside of the building. If he can just give the Arizona Cardinals and his teammates and his guys just a few more hours.
Yeah. I think film for him.
Oh my gosh, that would do so much for his game.
I agree with you. And I think it go ahead, my fault.
Because then it's like you don't have to rely on your legs as much because you a step ahead. Like, all right, boom, maybe you want to do this or whatever the case may be. But again, man, we'll see. You know what I mean? I hope some fella taps into it. Hope somebody put their arm around him like, hey, watch a little bit of film, man.
It ain't that hard to do. It ain't that hard to do. And I think for Kyler, once again, he's displayed, at least to me, assuming that he don't watch a lick of film outside the facility, he's shown me he can play and be one of the best quarterbacks in the league without that. But like you said, if he adds that to his repertoire, to his preparation, more hours, some people you can watch too much, but he got to find that balance. And I think more importantly for him and at that quarterback position, it's about the guys around you. Like, all right, he can be, calling Hollywood, calling AJ, hey, Zach Ertz, hey, I just saw this in practice. I just saw this from last game, how they played this. Let's do it like this next time we're in that 2-minute or we're in that third and medium type situation. So for sure, it's definitely room for him. And you look around to his peers and where he stands amongst his peers, like that's my thing. It's like, come on, let's not act like this motherfucker just a bum out here. Like,
nah, I don't think anybody is saying that. I don't think anybody is saying he's a bum. Just saying that.
Yeah. I agree with you though. Everything you said, I agree with you. I agree with you, bro. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk. Because
it's a couple all pros, it's a couple defended all pros who don't watch film either.
No doubt. But that's what I said. But that's why I said you can probably look at a team.
You said there's one on every team.
Well, it's probably one or two on every team that on each side of the ball, I will give you that you would think, to your point, you would think like, damn, like how you know that he must watch a bunch of film. But some people just got it. You know what I mean? But in my personal opinion, who the hell am I? I just feel as though at that position, you have to watch film. I don't care how easy the offensive game is. I don't care.
In fairness though, you would probably say that about every position, right?
Yeah, I would. But and again, I said this on the show. I feel like in certain positions, I feel as though doesn't have to watch as much film as other positions, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
See,
But
now
even
I'm back in this argument because now,
but even there, I feel like it's every position should watch a lot of film.
Yeah. Once again, we talked about that there were one or two guys, and the thing about the quarterback position, you just affect so many other guys. Like it's the nature of the position, the nature of the position. Now I'm thinking about Mahomes a couple years ago in the shop, telling LeBron, I can't read coverages. I think this was after him throwing 50 touchdowns. I can't read coverages like that. This is I remember Brett Favre saying he had to talk to his backup Ty Detmer and say, bro, I'm kind of embarrassed to ask, but what's the nickel package? Like,
right,
motherfucker didn't know the nickel package after, and then he told, once he explained it to him, he said, why the fuck does that matter to me? They take it out of backer for a nickel, what that mean? So, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's different. It's rare, but obviously Kyler has shown to be a rare motherfucker. He was drafted first round in baseball and football. Never happened before. 43-0 high school. I'm going back to high school in Texas because shit never happened before.
But I don't really care about high school though, D. But
hey, but I understand that. We just talked about Bill Russell High School championship. Well, I did.
You did.
I guess I care about high school.
And we had a conversation before we jumped on live about that. But I was just like, I ain't gonna say that I ain't gonna talk about Bill like that.
OG Bill. Yeah.
My thing is, look at here. If D-Buck, and I think I know D-Buck fairly when we talk about.
I'm not speaking on me. I felt like I had to watch him as a player.
No, I'm not. I ain't gonna talk about. I'm just putting the GM hat on you again. And you looking at your quarterback and you like, damn.
I'm still signing him. Because I'm going to look around the league. I'm going to look at the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to look at the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to look at these other quarterbacks. And, I'm going to look at my guy and say, I got the better guy.
Molly Moore said, man, it showed that Brett didn't watch film all them dumbass interceptions. Facts.
Hey.
Man, he great, but
Kyler and Brett were running 4-3 though. Brett were running 4-3. I just saw a list too that had every quarterback
and youngsters. Man, just because you fast, you athletic, man, don't bank on that because someday that's just gonna go out the door.
Facts.
That's gonna go out the door. So you want to be able to play the game above the shoulders. And you want to do that early.
Which Kyler can and Kyler has, and some people just have that feel, that innate ability.
He does. He has that. He has. Look, I'm not taking anything away from Kyler Murray as far as his ability, his athleticism. I'm not doing none of that. But
you got to put the study in. Come on, you. Hey. We gonna tell you that. We both agree on that. You got to put the extra time in. But what we moving on to, man?
Why we spend that much time?
Yeah, it had to happen at some point.
Man, let's talk about this real quick.
Josh Allen.
A shoving fight. I don't know what a shoving fight is.
Let's get to the. We got video of this.
Yeah, I think the video in there.
Let me see. All right, so you got Josh Allen here and the Buffalo Bills running some type of drill with this motherfucker running up the B gap. And he mad. He get mad when the D lineman give him a little Now.
That's how the fights get started right there.
The pass on, they got uppers on. That might be full pass. Oh, a fight bound to happen in full pass. Come on, but what's your thoughts on that, man?
It was cute. But to your point, Josh Allen, you got to know if you go,
he ain't violate him like that either.
I can see if he teed off on him. He definitely got hit a lot harder. The offensive linemen, they doing what they got to do. They got to protect their quarterback. But then defense, we're gonna do what we do. And I don't know. He might have been agitated. you know, you know how it be. Sometimes quarterbacks be getting they
yeah,
punished,
your ass out of here. Yeah.
So
you know them D linemen, they hot, they tired. You know, quarterbacks, y'all just quarterbacks always want to talk. Hey, we ain't practicing hard enough. Let's pick the tempo. Let's do. Get your ass out of here. Gave him a little shove. I like it. I know. Now if this was, you know, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, one of them boys, that I don't think that. Hey, everybody.
First of all, I know Peyton, he wasn't running up the gut. Like if it was anything, he was on the outside. Like
that's what I'm saying. True. So if you one of them quarterbacks,
don't even run by him because you might trip on you might trip over your shoestring and fall into his knee or something.
I remember Brady almost hit like his hand on my helmet one time. Never again.
You out of there.
Never again. I said, I ain't gonna make it blue. And it's a fucking halo. But yeah, like you said, that was cute. That was I think that was Bush League by the quarterback, if you ask me. But a couple rules in a fight on a football field. Always keep your helmet on.
First things first.
Always keep your helmet on, number one. Number two, if you're going to grab somebody, always grab someone from the other team. Don't grab your own. You know, if you're offensive lineman, grab your quarterback. That's one thing. But when you're in the middle of shit going down, you know, somebody just grabbing you from behind, like pulling you. Sometimes, you know, you may have swing back. It may be a ref trying to pull you off, but you just that's your first, you know. And then somebody else may be coming to hit you from the other side, or you pulling your man's back. So always pull someone from the other team. Keep your helmet on,
and don't get caught by yourself. If it's like a group, don't get caught on an island. Don't get caught on an island. Boy, we was at Indy one year. I think you was there. You was there. Yeah. Or I don't know if you had got there yet.
If it was 2012, I missed training camp in 2012.
So I don't know. I forgot the offensive lineman, but the D line and O line got to fighting. And you know, defense, we running up to the scuffle. And we ended up, all the DBs ended up getting one O lineman. Boy, we wore his ass out, Paul.
Yep.
Hey,
you got to.
Man, that was like, and it was crazy because they had caught it on film. They recorded.
They always keep the cameras rolling too. So know that too. The camera continue to roll.
We got to the cameraman, yo. We was like, yo, we need this footage. That shit was hilarious.
And I was one of those guys who I'm watching the film. I'm watching it like it's a red zone rep. I want to see how everybody reacted. If you left your man out to dry, if you saw one of your DBs or something getting jumped by O-lineman, you just kind of paid the nice guy play. I'm watching all coaches, how coaches react. Coaches, did y'all run in there? Did y'all do this? Everybody getting observed. And from that film, but so always know that camera's always rolling. Always have your teammates back, in my opinion, right, wrong, and different. Once we get to that sideline shit, that shit gets sorted out later. But always have your teammates back. But yeah, training camps fights. They had too many in-game fights, but usually it happened on like somebody else's sideline or something. Like AB said, don't get caught by yourself. But my boy Tavar, I remember he hit me. It was either his rookie year or the year after. Man, they almost killed me today. I'm like, what happened, bro? Man, I got into it with one old lineman. The boys caught me by myself. The boys got on top of me. He said, bro, I thought I was about to die.
Hey, that's the worst.
Bro, you imagine 1,200 pounds on you, bro? Pause. 1,200 pounds. Come on, man.
Hey, that's the worst thing, yo. Getting caught by yourself. In a fight, man, it's like because we DBs, yo. Now, if you with the receivers or whatever, you holding your own. But a lot of times, like even like nickelback safeties, we going in on the run fits or whatever the case may be. Hey, man, that ain't a situation that you want to be in
at all. Oh man, you got to get
your F1 in, bro.
I get Ty back on here too. Will, hey man. Ty, he got a temper too. He used to have a temper at that age, so I already knew how it went down. He said, man, D-line, bro. I fight with D-line, ain't even jump in for me. I said, oh, man, they did you like that, bro? But, yeah, that shit was crazy. But, yeah, let me get this F1 real quick, man. We had the Hungarian Grand Prix. I hope some of y'all tuned in this yesterday. Max Verstappen, as AB would say, it seemed like he wins every week. This guy's fucking inevitable. But Max Verstappen started the race, started the Grand Prix.
What's going to be new today? Just give me that.
So news on Max Verstappen, Red Bull's driver. This is his first race that he's actually won starting outside of the top 4 on the grid, and he had some issues with his power unit during qualifying. That's why he only qualified at the P10 spot. But they swapped out the power unit the day before the race. He ended up charging through the field, ended up winning the race. If it's 3 boxes for all the teams in F1, I would say as simple as this, I would go driver, car, team. And if you look at Red Bull, all those boxes are checked with like green check mark. Great driver, Max, great car, Red Bull, and then a great team as far as strategy, execution, all that stuff. All boxes checked. What'd you say?
Question. So Can a driver, so you said driver, car, team.
Yeah.
Can a driver overcompensate? Well, not overcompensate, but obviously we talk about sometimes as players, you got to play through bad coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can a driver do that with his car, or his car has to be?
Well, yes. Yeah, so Mercedes, if you look at Mercedes, they've been having issues, and they've over the years have had a dominant car. And this year, it's the 3rd fastest car on the track. It's Ferrari probably has the best car, Red Bull, and then Mercedes, in my opinion. But Mercedes has great drivers. Lewis Hamilton, obviously, a GOAT in a lot of people's opinion. He's in the last 5 races, he's been on the podium. So that's either P1, 2, or 3. It's been 2 or 3 for him. He hasn't won a race yet this year. So he started P7, ended up on the podium. He was one of my bets, actually. His teammate, George Russell, in that same car has finished, top 5 in every race except one race that he crashed out in the first lap. So I think that's what you're seeing with them. And George Russell even getting that seat, he was outperforming the other slower cars on the grid. So the other bigger companies with better cars can say, oh, that's a good driver. We're going to sign him. We're going to take him. Lando Norris, kind of another young star with McLaren. And then Charles Leclerc with Ferrari, they have, I can't even think of a coaching staff to compare it to in the NFL when you look at like their management and their team and their execution. Terrible across the board. Slow pit stops, bad strategies, bad tire strategy. But Charles Leclerc is one of the best drivers on the grid, and that Ferrari has been the fastest car on the grid, but they have terribly underperformed. So they would get a green check for driver, green check for car, a fucking red check for management execution. So that's kind of what happened this past race. Ferrari, double podiums back to back for Mercedes. The Constructors Cup going into the summer break, which they're on for a few weeks. Red Bull's first
all season. Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes Benz.
Yeah, so those are the top 3, right? And every year it's like those top 3 constructors are going to compete for the title. And then it's like the best of the rest. And Alpine, McLaren are kind of in that battle. But yeah, like you said, it's been like that all season. Ferrari, honestly, in my opinion, should be running away with it, should be in front, but they're not. Obviously, Max Verstappen, once again, fucking inevitable. His car is working. He's winning the race pretty much this year. He's in first place in the driver's standing. Leclerc is second place in the driver's standing. And then Red Bull's Max Verstappen's teammate, Sergio Perez, is third place. And then Mercedes driver Russell in 4th, Sainz in 5th, Lewis Hamilton in 6th. And these are my tickets that I hit on.
Okay.
On this past race. So honestly, I ain't gonna lie. This F1 shit is easier to bet on, I would say, than football. Yeah, because it's less variables. So I got So Max Verstappen, once again, he qualified at P10. So that's 10th on the grid. He started 10th on the grid, and once again, he had never won a race from outside of P4. But I'm like, shit, it's Max Verstappen at plus 900. I gotta take that. So took that. Alfa Romeo, I basically bet on any team, any car to retire. I bet on Alfa Romeo. That happened. Bottas was the only one. It happened like 3 laps left, so that was a nail biter. Lewis Hamilton, once again, crazy odds, plus 1,200 to have the fastest lap. Now I took this bet because Lewis is obviously a great driver, but I expected some rain, so I said I'm gonna bet on the best driver in the worst conditions.
Hey,
So
look,
he hit that fast.
My man
What'd you
said
say?
he some rain, so you got the forecast. You expected some rain, so
Yeah, we expected rain. So hey, you know what I mean? I'm blocked in like that.
I signed my man D Bud up, man. Y'all come
You know
get
what I
my
mean?
man, yo.
Hey, you know what I mean? It's in the work. It's in the work. You feel me? And then Lewis Hamilton getting on the podium once again at P7. I got it at great odds again at plus 220, and he ended up in P2. Could have won the race, honestly, if his DRS wasn't malfunctioning in qualifying. But yeah, that was my week. You know what I'm saying? I'm a F1 sharp, low key. So coming out of this summer break, I might have a new Twitter handle, might have a new F1 podcast. Who knows? It's coming, but nah, it's football time now though.
Y'all tapping with my guy DB, man. He gonna get you the weather forecast. He gonna get you
all that.
He gonna get you all that, man. Y'all
all that, man. But yeah, man, that was my weekend. But hopefully we have some more news, some more positive news coming out of NFL in the next few days with these training camps. We didn't even get the NFC South. We have to get to that Thursday.
We'll get that on Thursday.
But who you got, man? Who's gonna start day one for the Panthers, man?
I'm gonna just say Sam Darnold, just because of, again, we kind of talked about this. Unless he just goes out there and stinks it up during training camp and during the preseason, but I just think he has an upper hand on the playbook and the upper hand and as far as just the camaraderie and the relationship he has with the receivers. You know, obviously last year it didn't look like a great relationship on the field, but just knowing one another, I think I would just give Sam Darnold a slight edge to start the season. But I could be dead wrong, because again, you know, you go out there, he making
more money than Baker too. So
yeah, but you go out there to make a play for Baker, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just in that, so in my opinion, Sam Darnold has an upper hand. He would have to go out there and stink it up during preseason, or Baker would just have to be lights out during practice and during the preseason games for them to give him that nod. But I'll say Sam Darnold starts the season.
Okay, Sam Darnold. I got Baker Mayfield starting. I've been saying it. Baker gonna start for somebody week one. Obviously, like you said, the play was made before training camp. So I'm going with Baker, man. I think the talent gap is there. I think there is a significant gap in talent between the two. The huge leg up that Sam Darnold has, though, is that he's been there. Like you say, he's familiar with the guys. He's familiar with the plays all season, all preseason. But I think Baker is going to impress enough. He only got to show him enough. Show him a few glimpses. Show him a few things. And I think the best move for them would be just name the starter and ride with him, let him grow through those first few weeks of the season. But we're going to get to the rest of that division, exciting division to talk about on Thursday. Anything else you want to hit it with before we get up out of here?
Man, y'all just have a great week, man. Y'all tap in with us on Thursday, man. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. You see the hashtag up there, M2M Live. Y'all send us this questions so we can answer those. Other than that, man,
we're gone. Appreciate y'all, man. Go holla at Pat and them.